So I've been watching Avatar, as some of you guys know. I decided to sit down here. But yeah, I was watching Avatar, as some of you guys know, and I was posting reaction videos along with shorts, and the shorts were doing great. Somewhat for my channel popping off, yeah. The first episode even did good. Obviously, I continued doing them because, duh, I'm trying to make this my job and get monetized. But unfortunately, the worst came to worse. My views dropped off. I lost all of my bitches. My drip started to become insufficient. Everything went to shit. Anyways, I started Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 2, and now I'm going to talk about it so YouTube can be my friend again. In this video, I want to kind of go over what happens in the episodes and kind of like my opinions, how I feel about them, and just kind of whatever else happens. Also, if this does good, I can compare it to the live action show, which would be fun. So hopefully this does good. Remember whenever Leafy was a thing? And he always hid behind his mic? 50 likes and I'll do the next 3 episodes. And of course, spoilers are ahead. So if you haven't watched the show, like me, then be careful. We'll be covering episodes 1, 2, and 3 of book 2. So episode 1, the Avatar state. Aang is sleeping and he has flashbacks of him in the Avatar state, and it kind of makes him worrisome, kind of makes him scared a little bit of kind of what he's capable of. And we're departing from the North Pole because if you remember in the end of season 1, we were in the North Pole. So we're finally leaving the North Pole. As we leave, the master, I forgot his name, the master that was supposed to be teaching Aang, he gives Katara a water necklace. Aang gets waterbending scrolls, and Katara is granted to be a master. So badass. And of course, Sokka gets jack shit because in every episode he always gets the short end of the stick. That being said, we start heading towards the Earth Kingdom because we gotta learn all 4 of the elements. We gotta master every bending. We see Zuko's sister for the first time with dialogue. We saw her in the last episode, but we finally get some dialogue with her. Her name is Azula. Something she can do is shoot lightning out of her fingers. That's badass. I mean, you know, I guess lightning and fire, I guess they kind of go like that. I don't know the science behind it, but she can shoot lightning out of her fingers. She's not the best at it, but she can do it. Zuko still wishes that his father didn't banish him, and he's still kind of upset about that, even though, you know, as much as he don't want to be, he deep down is upset that his father banished him, and he wishes that he can go back. Zuko really just wants to make his father happy. The Earth Kingdom General, I think it was, the general, not like the leader, but I think it was the general. Once we get to a Earth Kingdom place, he says that Aang is ready to fight the Fire Lord, and he's trying to convince Aang. He's like, hey, people are dying. We need to go ahead and destroy this Fire Lord, and clearly, since the last battle, you showed us that you are indeed ready. The 3 kids, the gang, they say that, you know, that's silly talk. They think that that's dumb to go ahead and start fighting the Fire Lord. They do not think that Aang is ready, including Aang himself. Aang knows that in order to beat the Fire Lord, he has to control the Avatar state, which he is far from doing. That's really the big stopper in his plans right now. But eventually, he gets convinced to fight the Fire Lord. The general actually convinces Aang to go ahead and try to fight the Fire Lord. Katara disagrees with this. She thinks that it's dumb. Sokka agrees with it. He's like, shit, I mean, clearly he can kick ass, so like, fuck it, you know? General Fong is the guy's name, and he tries everything to get Aang into the Avatar state, but nothing is working. Zuko's sister, Azula, pulls up to Zuko and she says that Fire Lord Ozai wants Zuko back. He wants to unbanish him. Zuko gets very excited about this news, and Iroh thinks it's sus. He says that King Ozai never regrets anything, so it would be kind of weird that he would regret banishing Zuko, and Zuko gets mad about that. He's like, man, you don't know nothing. And so they kind of have a little feud. Katara says she won't be there for Aang whenever he goes into the Avatar state because she is quite frankly scared. She says that the people that love Aang don't want to see him filled with that much rage, and she said she won't support it. She won't be there. Aang, understandably, he says, okay. Aang later that night has another nightmare about the Avatar state, and he starts to have second thoughts of agreeing with General Fong. He tells Sokka that he thinks it's a bad idea. Sokka's just like, okay. So the next day, Aang goes to General Fong and he tells him that he is not going to do it. He tells him that he can only go in the Avatar state when he's in real danger, and he refuses to try anymore, and he accepts that it's uncontrollable. General Fong hears this and he takes matters into his own hands. He says, oh, you need to be in genuine danger? I'm gonna put you in some danger. They start scrapping, even though Aang doesn't want to, and he still refuses to go into the Avatar state. He's more on the defense. Zuko and Iroh go to see Lord Ozai, but one of the guards that are leading them to where they need to go says prisoners instead of like visitors, or Zuko and Iroh. So they fucked up. They sold the bag. Then they, realize that they are not there for what they thought they were going to be there for. So they all fight. They get in a scrap. Meanwhile, General Fong says that he's going to sink Katara in the ground if Aang doesn't go in the Avatar state, and which he does. He starts, sinking her and sinking her. Aang gets into the Avatar state and he destroys everything. Not really, but he starts making them think, oh shit, we might die, bruh. Also, Azula is bitchy. She is definitely stuck up and definitely a bitch. Side note, but hey man. Azula tries to strike Iroh with her lightning, and he takes it and misguides it in a different direction, which is badass. But that also means that he can use lightning, which makes sense. If she can, it'd make no sense if he can't. But anyways, pretty cool. General Fong tries to get Aang out of the Avatar state because he is starting to get a little bit scared. And he's like, the danger is fake. Here's Katara, and pulls her out of the ground. And, Aang ain't going for it. But while this is happening, Roku brings Aang into the spirit realm and tells him about the Avatar state. So we get a little bit more info on what the Avatar state actually is. This is what it is. You are in your most powerful form in the Avatar state, and if you die, the cycle of the Avatar is broken. So you don't want to die. You're the most powerful, but also the most vulnerable. So, it's a scary place to be. And Aang, after hearing this, comes back and he decides that he never wants to go into the Avatar state again. Which, makes sense. I probably wouldn't want to either. So it kind of makes sense. Zuko and Iroh eventually dip. They get away from Azula and they cut off their ponytails. Get a new look, and they are going to be going MIA. And that is the end of episode 1 of book 2. Pretty insane start. Definitely a better start than season 1, in my opinion. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking by it, mother frickers. I'm going to hold this. Does this look stupid? You know what? I don't care. I don't care if it looks stupid. You know why? Because I am badass. And I'm going to hold it. Let's see what we got next. Starting off with the next episode, Katara and Aang are practicing waterbending forms, and this includes octopus form. I'll give you 3 guesses as to what that looks like. Yeah, the answer is it kind of looks like an octopus with octopus arms. While they are doing this, they are preparing to head to Amashu, which, if you remember, that is where King Bumi is, place of earth bending people. Yeah. While they're talking, they hear people walk up on them, and they hear them singing and playing an instrument. I'm going to say a guitar. I don't think it was a guitar, but I'm going to say a guitar because that's what my mind is telling me right now. But they hear people singing songs and pulling up on them. They find out that they are just some travelers, and they are very peaceful. They aren't earthbenders, but they sound like they partake in some of the Earth's benefits that it gives us, if you know what I'm saying. No, they're very dopey. Iroh and Zuko are still traveling by foot, scrapping for food and shelter. The nomads tell Sokka where they need to go in order to get to Omashu, which is through a secret love tunnel. At first, they didn't want to go that way because they wanted a straight shot to Omashu, but it was way too dangerous because of Fire Nation mofos, and they turn around and start heading to the love tunnel. And we cut back to Iroh and Zuko, and they come to the realization that they do need some help because they are going to starve, and help is always nice to have. They realize that they have 2 options. They could go to the Earth Kingdom, or they can go to Fire Nation. If they go to Fire Nation, they'll be imprisoned. If they go to Earth Kingdom, they'll be killed. So, with those 2 options in mind, they decide to go to Earth Kingdom. better odds there. Even though there is a 3rd option. They can meet up with the Avatar and the gang, and they could talk about their differences and find out that they both have a common enemy and they could team up. But anyways, that's neither here or there. After this, the Fire Nation pulls up to the Love Tunnel entrance and they trap them in there. So now the gang and the nomads are stuck inside the Love Tunnel. Unfortunately for Zuko, he hates them. So he's annoyed with them and he's impatient with them. Zuko and Iroh throw on some disguises and they go into a Earth Kingdom village, I think. They get some hospitality by some two women in a village. They stay for dinner. Zuko and a lady that is helping them both have similarities with their fathers being in the war, and you start to see cracks in Zuko's character. You know, he's starting to see his heart show a little bit. You see this as he tells the lady that his father is in the war. You know, this whole time they've been lying about their names and what they do, and you know, this is the first time he actually told the truth to them. So that's character development. Not really, but yeah, he tells the truth that his father is fighting in the war, but he does not tell her that he is the ruler of the Fire Nation. But you know, she didn't ask. So the gang, while in the Love Tunnel, gets ambushed by wolf bats, which if you don't know what a wolf bat is, picture a wolf and picture a bat. Now mush them together. That is a wolf bat. Appa hits a supporting rock in the tunnel and the gang gets separated. Katara and Aang are together while the nomads and Sokka are together. Sokka once again getting the short end of the stick while Aang and Katara are stuck together in a love tunnel. So, you know, not the worst for them. The lady from the village tells Zuko that she has scars from the Fire Nation, kind of like him. And, you can kind of see that affect him a little bit. He's almost hurt by that. It's almost like as if he's seeing for the first time that all he thinks about is conquering and war, but he don't really think about the effects that it has on simple citizens. Back to Aang and Katara, they go deeper in the tunnel. They find a secret passage in there and they kind of get some more backstory on the lore of the tunnel, which I will tell you guys about that right now. Pretty much it was two lovers from opposite tribes and they made a tunnel by earthbending that they learned from the badger moles, because badger moles are the spirit of earthbending. They are earthbenders, I guess. The embodiment of earthbending, maybe. I don't know, but they learned it from the badger moles and they became the first earthbenders, the two lovers. They made the tunnels to secretly meet. Romeo and Juliet type-ish, if you would. After the man died, the woman declared the war against the two villages officially over, and she made the town Omashu because her name was Oma and his name was Shu or something like that. Maybe the other way around, but it's their names together. Aang and Katara try to find a way out, and Katara suggests the idea to kiss because there was a picture of two people kissing and then like the light shining or something like that. So she throws that idea out. And Aang kind of has a thing for Katara, so this kind of works out perfectly. Oh god. Aang displays negative nonchalantness, scaring the hoes away. Oh god. She gets pissed because he said that he would rather kiss her than to die. You know, he's like, well, I don't want to die, so I guess I'd kiss you if it means I don't die. And she's like, the fuck you mean by that? Kind of like that type of deal. And so yeah, nice one, Aang. It makes it seem like the only reasonable way Aang would ever kiss Katara is to save his life. So, which is not true. He has a big thing for Katara, but she doesn't know that. Anyways, as Zuko and Iroh leave the house, they thank the people that they were staying with, and Zuko steals like a horse thing, what they use to traverse. He steals one of those, and yeah, they head on their merry way. Katara and Aang do eventually end up smooching, and the tunnel lights up. On the other side of things, Sokka gets ambushed by these badger moles and backs up in fear, which is valid because they're huge and they can earthbend, so pretty scary whenever they're aggressing you. And while he does this, he accidentally strums the nomad's guitar or ukulele or whatever it is, and the badger moles are fucking with it, quite frankly. They stop, showing them that they are entertained by the sound. Realizing that the nomads and Sokka aren't a threat, they take them out of the tunnel and straight to Aang and Katara, friendly moles. Our two lovebirds. Aww. No, but Aang tried to talk to Katara after all of this happened, and she just like kind of ran away. She kind of blew him off the shoulder. She acted like she didn't hear him, but I feel like that would be like impossible. Even though you did get distracted, you know. Pretty much they didn't get the chance to talk about their little smooch. That's now the second time that this happened, so eventually they're gonna have to talk about it. I feel like in the next couple of episodes, Aang's gonna finally talk to Katara about his true feelings, which I don't know how that will go. But we finally arrive at Oshamu. Why that sounded weird? Shamu? Shamu. Omashu. Omashu. There we go. Fuck. I was like, why does that sound so weird? We finally arrive at Omashu, but something is very wrong. There was a Fire Nation flag hanging up and black smoke rising to the sky. Omashu has been raided and taken over. End of episode 2. Episode 3. I'm sorry if my camera keeps on going in and out of focus, by the way. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. See, like, why does it focus on my mic? I mean, I know why it's focusing on my mic, but like, why you gotta do that to me, gang? Even though Omashu seemed untouchable to Aang and his pals, it has been conquered. We go through a sewer passage to try to find King Bumi, but when we come out, Sokka has a purple pentapus on his face. It leaves like chickenpox markings on your face, which makes him look sick, even though he's not. A couple of Fire Nation guards find them and ask what's going on, which they use the perk of Sokka looking sick to strike fear in the fire guards. Sorry. Immediately after they hear that he's sick, they go burn their clothes actually, and they run away. Runaway is kind of crazy. They walk away fastly. But yeah, they were told that it was contagious, so yeah, they don't want to get that. They're scared. Meanwhile, Azula is forming a small elite team to find Zuko and Iroh, since they are still MIA. A team of earthbenders known as the Resistance is seeking to kill the Fire Nation guards so they can take back Omashu. The Resistance try to make an attack on Fire Nation guards standing below them, and Aang, standing in the middle of them, thinks that they're trying to attack him, so he defends himself. But while he does that, he blows his cover. Because we did that, we get in a fight with Mai, the daughter of the now governor here in Omashu. Mai has cool knives that like shoot out of her arms, which I don't know how she can do that. We also fall on a trap door, and she was able to move with her hands as if she was airbending. So I don't know how she was able to do that, but I'm sure I'm going to find out eventually. Azula meets with Ty Lee, a circus performer of the Royal Fire Academy of Girls. She tries to recruit her, but Ty Lee says that she has a calling and she's comfortable with where she's at, and she has a calling to pursue her circus duties. So she respectfully declines, and Azula pretty much says like, okay, I'll see you at your show tonight. And she's like, ah, shit. Like, she's gonna be watching me. It's kind of big news, because this is Fire Lord's daughter. She kind of has aura. Hate to say it, because I don't really like Azula that much, but she does have aura. So, you know, gotta give credit where credit is due. Aang finds out that King Bumi surrendered to the Fire Nation when they were invaded, and he's locked away somewhere where he can't earthbend, which is likely encased in metal, because there's a big metal building in there. Aang convinces the Resistance to leave Omashu while they can, since they're outnumbered, and it would be Sui if they tried to pursue fighting the Fire Nation. But you might be thinking to yourself, how are they gonna just leave? They can't just leave. Well, Sokka found out that he can convince the Fire Nation that he's sick, and they already said that it's contagious, so right now, that's our best bet. And that bet works like a charm. The whole Resistance go up to the Fire Nation. They're like, and they get forced to leave Omashu, so dub. Momo accidentally kidnaps the baby of the governor and returns back to the gang. Now we have the baby of the governor, which, yeah. They get a note that the Fire Nation wants to make a trade. The baby for King Bumi. Even though it's likely a trap, they still agree. Later that night, after the circus performance, Azula goes up to Ty Lee and congratulates her, but is surprised and happy to hear that Ty Lee changed her mind, and she's going to be joining her on her expedition to find Iroh and Zuko. Later on, Azula is meeting with the governor and other troops, and she tells the governor to stay back for the trade because he's been making things go to shit and he's been acting messy. So she says that Mai will go for the trade herself, and Ty Lee. I forgot about that. During the trade, King Boofy, smoking that Boofy. Oh god. King Boomy is in a coffin and his like face is like shown. It's weird, but yeah, and he's lowered down. Azula says that the trade seems unfair since they're trading a king for a baby, and she calls off the trade. As they ascend Boomy back up, Aang acts out and he tries to get Boomy back. Azula, now knowing that Aang is the Avatar, she is immediately intrigued in him. Katara fights off Mai and Ty Lee like a badass because she's a master waterbender now. Shout out Katara. And King Boomy and Aang are making a run for it. Or lack of a better word, a slide for it. Yeah, I just spit a little bit. They're using those slides, like the chutes that are in Amashu, if you remember from one of the episodes in season 1. But anyways, Azula is on their tails as they fight back and forth. Sokka spins the block with Appa and gets Katara out of the situation with Ty Lee and Mai. Boomy, just now showing that he can bend in the coffin since his face is shown, does just that and gets Azula off their ass. Boomy tells Aang that he didn't free himself and he surrendered because he did the 3rd Jing out of supposedly 85. And Jings are pretty much like actions in fighting, I believe. There is positive, which is attack. There is negative, which is retreat, and a 3rd, which Aang didn't know existed, which is neutral. Just kind of waiting things out. Boomy has mastered the neutral Jing, and he believes that that is the way of the Earthbenders. He says that that is the key to Earthbending, waiting for the right moment to strike. Boomy tells Aang that he has to find someone who has mastered the 3rd Jing to learn Earthbending. Azula tells the other girls that there is now a 3rd target in her scope, which is Aang, obviously. And the baby is returned to the governor's family without knowing that Aang brought him back. He does it secretly. And that's the end of episode 3. Immediately, this is already better than the first season's couple of episodes. I feel like that's obvious because I think Azula is cool. You know, she's kind of bitchy, but you know, she's pretty cool. I think the lightning is badass. Yeah, I said in like my reaction that is up on Patreon, by the way. go to the Patreon. You can watch my reaction, my live reaction. I said this, or maybe he'll like master the Jing. Yo, Iroh. Let's say the next episode we're gonna find Zuko and Iroh. We're gonna ready up, and Aang's gonna attack, and then they're gonna talk it out, and then at some point Iroh's gonna be like, "Man, you really need to control not to attack, and you need to be more on the defensive side when meeting new people." And then Aang's gonna be like, "Gah, you're right." Teach him how to be a neutral Movo. That's my guess. But then they could just teach him firebending too. So I don't know. I feel like that would be too spoon-fed. I actually don't think they'll do that. I don't know. Don't tell me what you guys think, because I know you probably already watched the whole show. So like, you know, don't tell me if I'm like close or not. But that's my prediction right now. I'm excited to start watching the next couple episodes. What do you think of Azula? What was your first reactions of Azula, if you have already seen the show, which a lot of you already have? What do you guys think about her? As far as like villains go, I mean, she's all right. I haven't seen that much of her, but she definitely has a lot of potential to be like a crazy villain. So I'm excited. I'm also excited for Zuko to freaking man up and become a hero and not a villain. I'm ready for that because I know it's going to happen. So I'm excited for that to happen. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this style of video, please let me know. I'm going to be standing up for these, and I'm going to have like a better setup for this. I just wanted to get the first 3 episodes done because, quite frankly, I want to continue watching the show. So leave a comment. You'll pop up in my next video if you leave a comment. I'm gonna pick if I get a lot of comments, I'll pick only some. If you're watching the video right now and there's not a lot of comments, might as well comment, because I'll probably put your comment in the video. Have a good rest of your day, night, evening, and I will see you when I see you.